Welcome back everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Bills, and today we're dealing with the 1980 Lotus Esprit Turbo. Now this has 1072 horsepower, 824 pounds-feet of torque from a 5.7 litre twin turbocharged V8 engine. The car itself now weighs 2,607 pounds, has off-road tyres, all-wheel drive and off-road suspension, and it can do 0 to 16 2.903 seconds, 0 to 105.866 seconds, and going to a top speed of 258 miles an hour, which is obviously incredibly a high top speed for a car of this age, but we're not going to get up to that on this series. But it does give it some leeway in terms of what it can do on the course itself. So yeah, been meaning to take this out for a while because obviously it has been on the game. Well, it was introduced into the game a while back now, but there's been so many other cars to try out on this series that I've just got a bit lost in it. This got lost in the shuffle. But in terms of stats, yeah, the off-road capability, braking, launch, acceleration and top speed are all fairly good. Handling is looking a little bit on the lower side of things than I would expect for a car of this type, mid-engine sports car, but obviously it is also quite an old one as well, so who knows, maybe the handling will be fine when it comes to this course. But yeah, it's not the best stat and not the most confidence-inducing one either, but everything else is pretty much a-okay, and the fact it doesn't weigh all that much and has more than 1,000 horsepower is also pretty promising. So yeah, the fastest Lotus that we've had so far on this series has been the 340R, which is currently situated in 6th place as of this video, with a time of 3 minutes 11.477, which is really quick, especially for a car that is at the end of the day meant for the track and not going off-road. So yeah, impressive time. Obviously not the fastest, but very close to being so. So hopefully this can have some of that car's magic. It still amazes me that it was as quick as it was. Now this does have a lot of elements on its side. Like I said, it's a very lightweight. It's also small. Even in stock form, it's quite an agile car. So in this form, it should be even more agile. But obviously it does have all-wheel drive, which I've never meant for, which could well play out with the handling. But at least it gives it a bit of extra weight over the front, where obviously not much weight would have been in the stock form, given it's a mid-engine rear-wheel drive car. Very tidy around that corner. How's it going to deal with the landing of this jump? Fine. Way better than I expected, given how light it actually is. Because light cars do tend to get thrown around a fair bit when they are going over bumps or landing on big jumps, landing off of big jumps like that. Clearly the off-road suspension is working overtime to keep this car in check. Yeah, the handling stat isn't really coming true here. It's nowhere near as bad as that 4.3 would suggest. Brakes are working very well. Obviously the stat of 5.5 braking is not the greatest, but consider the fact that it doesn't weigh all that much, then yeah, it doesn't have much in the way of momentum to slow down. So even though the brakes might not sound the best, they are working really rather well regardless. About 150 down now, which is pretty quick. Sure where this engine is from though, by the way. It's definitely a pretty potent one. It's not one we often are able to use, just because it's not in a lot of other cars to be able to swap into. Glad we are able to, because it is properly quick and fully upgraded. not going to be the fastest Lotus, but we aren't going to be a million miles off considering the age difference. And yeah, way faster than the previous car that we took out on this series, which was the oh, what was it now? I've forgotten now. No, the Volvo C30 Polestar, which managed a time around 3 minutes 20, whereas this is 3 minutes 17.313, so nearly 3 seconds quicker than that Volvo. And yeah, 3 minutes 17 is easily one of the fastest times that we've had recently, as that puts us ahead of the Dodge Coronet Super B, the Hennessy Venom F5, the Subaru WRX STI ARX Supercar, the Plymouth Barracuda Formula S, and other similar cars, regardless of age, like the McLaren 765 LT, Nissan GT-R Nismo, Nissan Fairlady Z, Porsche 550A Spider, and the Lamborghini Cyan Roadster, all slower than this car, surprisingly so. Slightly behind the Porsche Mission R and the Lucid Air Sapphire, as well as the Liberty Toyota Tacoma TRD Performance Truck, Sierra Cars number 23 Yokohama Alpha, and yeah, older car or similar aged cars like the Abarth Fiat 131, which is from the same year as this, and yeah, Pontiac Firebird Trans Am ST5455, which is about 7 years older than this. Slower than a Lancia Stratos, which again is about the same age, as well as an MG Metro 6R4, Lancia Delta S4, Lancia 037 Stradale, and that's about it. So yeah, Lancia have actually done really well. I'm surprised by how well they've actually done, but yeah, we're not only slower than the 340R from Lotus, but we're also slower than the Emira. In terms of other Lotus vehicles, let's have a look. I've only taken a few out on this one. We're also slower than the Avaya as well, so not the quickest Lotus by any means, but the fact is we now have 3 of them pretty much in the top 50. This is just outside of that top 50. It's one place outside of that, so yeah, that is a pretty solid run of cars from Lotus there. You wouldn't expect a sports car manufacturer to be so successful on an off-road course, but they just are. So yeah, that's really, really cool. But obviously the likes of Lancia have been way more successful, as they have managed to get, what, 2 cars in the, well, 1 car in the top 10, and 2 in the top 20, 3 in the top 30. It's only the Delta HF Integrale Evo that has been the slowest out of the bunch of those, so yeah, just a slight comparison there to another car manufacturer that begins with L, basically, there. So yeah, but still, this car was fairly impressive. The handling stat really didn't come true, and everything else about it was pretty spot on, to be honest. I think the only reason it wasn't any quicker is because it is, at the end of the day, a sports car. So yeah, and a sports car that, even though it's lightweight, it's not the lightest that you could get out there that is on this game. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.